I want to run a question by you to suggest a fundamental attitude shift I think we should have had a long time ago about the Trumpies. Here goes. You end up stuck working with this unusual guy. He never talks politics or religion. Other people say he's apolitical, just not into that stuff. Still, you've noticed he has some distinctive habits. Most glaringly, he seems to need to reassure himself constantly that he's a really, really tough macho man. It's like he lives in a fantasy world where he's a comic book superhero. Like every Marvel comic superhero all rolled into one. He brings up his superheroism all the time. No matter what people are talking about, he steers the conversation to his toughness. And you better listen for as long as he wants, no matter how busy you are. It's like he assumes you're on the edge of your seat the way he is when he watches Marvel movies. He comes to work late and leaves early to go to the gym to build big muscles. He drives a Tesla truck that he's painted flat black. He wears tough guy costumes to work. Sometimes he dresses like a cowboy, sometimes like an army man. He makes fun of unmanly men and shows off pictures of the hot women he claims he scored with, though you have your doubts. He's devoted to this life coach he talks about all the time, a guy he insists is big and strong and right about everything. It's all my coach says this and my coach says that. From what you can tell, the coach is a con artist who panders and flatters while picking this guy's pockets. He also refers to the coach's audience as the superheroes, a name apparently coined by the coach. He's very proud to be a member of the superheroes. According to him, the superheroes are never wrong and always tough. It's funny. At work meetings, he'll bring up what the superheroes would say as if whatever he claims they'd think is the word of God. He also seems desperate to pretend he's right about everything, no matter what. Whenever something good happens, he takes full credit for it. Whenever something bad happens, he denies having anything to do with it, even when it's clearly his fault. He seems to look for reasons to complain every chance he gets. Nothing is ever good enough for him. It's like he demands to talk to the manager of reality because reality doesn't meet his high standards. From what you can tell, his only standard is that if it's good for him, it's right and virtuous, and if it's bad for him, it's wrong and evil. You can't argue with him. If he feels challenged at all, he pretends he's the supreme judge, like God himself deciding who wins, and it's always him. He claims to have some grand plan that justifies everything he does. From all he said, though, it's not a plan. It's just a vague and obvious goal. His plan is that if everyone would just follow his plan, everything would be great forever. He makes mountains out of molehills, constantly fretting about minor problems like they're the end of the world, and if he were in charge, he'd save the day. Whenever he loses by the rules of the game, he pouts. No fair. He insists he's the most fair-minded person ever, but from what you can tell, his definition of fair is that he wins. It's like he wins or else the game is rigged. Meanwhile, he rigs the game every chance he gets, always to his advantage. When he hears even the slightest hint of criticism, he instantly shuts down and rants, "No, that's what you do." It's robotic, like a gut reflex. Like if you asked him what he was being criticized for, he wouldn't know. All he knows is if it sounds bad, it's what other people do, never him. It's like he blares his moralizing police siren at everyone to drown out awareness of his own behavior, like he's scared of his own shadow. He seems incapable of imagining himself in anyone else's shoes. It's like he's afraid to visit any perspective but his own. While only looking out for himself, he scolds everyone else in the workplace for being selfish. Whenever a problem arises, he talks like he could solve it with his magical superpowers. He snaps at anyone who dares suggest that he doesn't have magical superpowers. He acts like he's both God and God's anxious defender, all rolled into one. He pretends that he's constantly of one mind about absolutely everything, like a robot that always spits out the correct answer. His answers are wildly inconsistent. He contradicts himself constantly. If you show any confusion or frustration about his inconsistency, he chews your head off for misunderstanding him. Even when he's proven completely wrong, he insists that he's right. He doesn't seem to care about truth or reality. He'll say anything to pretend he's always right, righteous, and mighty. The superhero. On Casual Friday, he'd come to work beaming and showing off his shirt and hat that say, "I'm right about everything." Like he really believes it. And like you better too, or else you're just some malfunctioning prop in his superhero drama. Okay, so one day you drop by work with your 18-year-old daughter and notice him eyeing her. Next thing you know, they're dating. A few months later, your daughter tells you he asked her to marry him. You ask what she likes about him. She says he seems really strong. Maybe he'd do a good job of protecting her. You ask why he seems strong to her. She tells you this is because he tells her he is, and because he has big muscles and a hot car. But she trusts you to look out for her, and so wants to hear your opinion. You've worked together longer than she's dated him. So how do you respond? Do you want him to be both your coworker and son-in-law? Do you think he's really smart, good, and above all strong? Is it bravery or mere bravado to compensate for insecurities and weakness? Is he a tough guy or a scared little drama queen? You ask your daughter if she knows anything about his politics. Well, it turns out he's very political. He's a fanatic for the same political party you favor. Does knowing that you have that in common change your impression of him? My point here is that Trumpism has taken over America on sheer bravado. Trumpies are the kind of whiny, scared people who fall for dictator coaches who teach them how to pretend they're tough by cowering within a cult of equally scared people. If you've opposed Trumpism for a while, I'm sure you've noticed what drama queen Trumpies are. And if you're a Trump fanatic, you're probably way too scared to even consider the possibility that you're a melodramatic drama queen hiding within a flak jacket. You'll probably just say, "No, that's what you libs do," from that place of wimpy, gut robotic fear and defensiveness. Trumpism prides itself on its bravery. The movement has become a real threat, but I think it's important to focus on what total wimps these pretend patriots are, clinging to the flabby legs of a trust fund baby in makeup. For starters, stop using terms like shocked, terrified, worried, concerned, anxious, troubled, and fearful. It affirms their make-believe macho, chicken little bravado. They're like milquetoast, so desperate to not be that they'll crawl into the flabby lap of a man crush. Trump told the women that he would be their protector. That may have passed the damp panty test for the women in red, but I'm guessing it did for many men too. They're gay for Trump, their protector. I've disappointed a few Trump trolls, not by insisting on, but assuming that that's what they are. Edmund Burke, the founder of political conservatism, predicted our current situation. If there's too much peace and relative prosperity, people get too comfortable. Citizens become wimps, too flaccid of spirit to prevent authoritarian rule. Some wimps will be suckers, surrendering to authoritarianism and accusing the opposition of being wimps for not sucking up to their man crush. Others will resist it half-heartedly and give up, proving that they're the wimps they're accused of being. Trump has capitalized on that. If after the election you're inclined to stop paying attention to politics and to retire into peace of mind by other means, that's what Burke predicted for a softened nation and what Trump hopes you'll do. It's not what our forefathers would have done, nor what we would have done if we had been born into their circumstances. The citizens who lived through World War II would be disappointed by our pampered patriotism and easy surrender and resignation, and by our hammering away at the same boring nice guy wimpy strategies that haven't worked. They'd want us to keep our eyes on the prize, to reprioritize toward that goal, and when blocked, to look for new angles and strategies for achieving it. I don't trust hope as my fuel for this work. It dries up too quickly and distracts from strategic thinking. In a way, crises of hope are the more reliable fuel if you can harness them without freaking out or pretending you're the hero for what you believe. If you're not immobilized by fear or pride, a crisis is just the growth spurt you need to scramble up some steep learning curve. When the going gets tough, the tough get innovative. Again, I'll pitch this free study group formed around my videos. We meet every other Sunday to innovate ways to respond to Trump 2.0. We stay practical. It's not a session where we talk about what we'd do if we were in charge of the world and lament how bad things are going. It's not a grief support group, but a chance to share and critique new strategies we're trying in one-on-one with Trumplicans, or really anyone using frigidity, fragile, rigid bravado, to pretend they're not anxious bunnies. Email me if you're curious about it. Curiosity is the only prerequisite, and I won't share your information with anyone, not even other study group members. Thanks.